allow the two children to have the budget.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My egun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My egun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego. My ego now I'm all, I'm on do. My ego diary, Ayekun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó dòdòdò. Ayekun diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Ayekun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Ayekun diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Ayekun diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí. Ayekun diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Máyégún diary politico. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Máyégún diary na ibi nọ́mbà one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní yẹn sọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní yẹn sọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní yẹn sọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní yẹn sọ́ra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Hello there, brethren. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Máyégún live. And thank you very much for joining me tonight. As you are taking your own seats, right? Remember that after reading the caption of the broadcast, you should read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like the broadcast, like your offering. Then share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Máyégún is live. Máyégún today. And if you have done that already, thank you, brethren. Now, tonight, we are pretty much like starting with the request and approval that Tinubu got from the Nigeria Senate today. You know, about 2 days ago, when the coup was raging in Benin Republic, when a group of soldiers announced that, they've toppled the government of Patrice Talon, and declared a sort of like a martial law, military rule. In response, right, Nigeria sent their own fighter jet to Benin Republic, in which we've had visuals, like the videos of some of these fighter jets. 2 of them, by the way, came under attack from what was suspected to be from the basis of the military, or the soldiers in support of the military coup. However, they brought the whole thing under control when Talon resurfaced later that evening, and then he broadcasted to the nation that they've managed to take back the control of the country. So Talon eventually went straight to the supposed presidential palace. However, many others said no, it wasn't over, because there were still some renegade soldiers who were believed to be actually controlling some part of the country at the time, enough that they needed Nigeria support. Like what Tinubu did in Niger when he declared war on Nigeria Republic before even notifying the National Assembly, and we all know how that went. Similarly, when he declared the state of emergency on River State and removed the democratically elected government, again, he had to communicate that to the National Assembly after these decisions have been made. Similarly, now, Tinubu already have Nigerian soldiers in Benin Republic as we speak. But yeah, he needs to kind of like make it official. So he wrote to the National Assembly that he would like to send Nigerian soldiers, they call it troop, to send troop into Benin Republic on a peace mission. Benin Republic is not fighting civil war. Benin Republic is probably kind of like doesn't have any breakdown of law and order. The impression they have given to us is that the military have taken back the country from the coupists, the coup plotters. So if Benin Republic is now under control and everything is under control, rather, why do Nigeria need to send their soldiers to Benin Republic on peace mission, like peace mission in Benin Republic? Peace with who? Anyway, Onofunuga, the special advisor to Tinubu on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok matters, the 70-year-old presidential advisor, that's Onofunuga, they said, well, the first time we went there, it was the president that called us, like in panic, that we should send fighter jet to come and help him. Indeed, Nigeria did like bombed 1 or 2 places in their commercial capital, which is the Cotonou, Porto Novo, as we have it on record, right? So Why did Nigeria go to Benin Republic and send fighter jet to Benin Republic while their coup was ongoing? I'm still coming back to that, but here is what Onofunuga said.
Well, let me just say I don't have the details of what the security people did, but what I know is that the government of Benin, President Talon's government, sent 2 note verbals to Nigeria, actually in quick succession, because the first one was that Nigeria should send fighter jets to help them to dislodge the coup plotters. And after that one was done, they again requested for ground troops. And of course, under the ECOWAS protocol of good governance and democracy, Nigeria, of course, joined other West African nations in forming what they call the ECOWAS standby force. Well,
so there is should I call it the ECOWAS standby force? It is a pretense, it's just like a pretense formation that looks like that of NATO. But the idea behind it, right, was when France and America, right, when they believed that, why not put together some soldiers, military, that would then be like a standby force in case if there is any kind of like violence or coup that are not sanctioned by them. So you can easily just use this troop. They will have access to enter some of these or all of the West African countries that signed the deal. But guess what? Nigeria was to provide about 90% of the logistic, the funding, and mostly the personnel as well, because most of the West African countries do not have any real military in that sense. You get what I mean? So Nigeria playing the big brother in this sense, right, made them believe that they could put together a force that will be working not in the interest of Africa per se. No. It will be like a standby force that instead of them bringing French forces, American forces to come into some of the countries they will call the dictatorship rather, right? So they will just bring the West African forces in. They tried it when the Sahel states, the AES states, Burkina Faso, Nigeria Republic, Mali, Chad, and a few others, right? When they decide not to be part of the West, ECOWAS anymore, since they knew that whatever ECOWAS pushes, right, is just like the dictates of France or dictation from France. So they pulled out. And then the threat that Tinubu made against Nigeria Republic, which was considered as a threat against the rest of the AES countries, right? So that threat was supposed to have been carried out, right, by the ECOWAS Special Force, where you have Ghana. Ghana will have their own military. Their soldiers will join. You have the Ivory Coast, you have the Togo, you have the Benin Republic, you have Gabon, you have Guinea. No, is it Guinea? Yeah, Guinea. Then you have Gambia, and all these guys. You shall draw them all together in the pretense that they have a standby army to protect democracy in Africa, in West Africa. So when the coup was announced in Nigeria, in Benin Republic, right? The ECOWAS, the toothless ECOWAS, came up and said, they were declaring a state of emergency. Like they actually declared a state of emergency all over West Africa right now. And why is that? Because almost all the countries in West Africa right now are falling into the, into a military coup. And the way it's going, it might end up being the thing as democracy is considered to have failed the people in some of these countries. So ECOWAS is now saying that if any country try to get, or if any country or any military of any country in West Africa should declare coup, so it's just going to be like a declaration of war on that country from now on. But we're going to get to that part. So yeah, Tinubu then, despite the fact that Tinubu already ordered the, the sort of like the military invasion of Benin Republic, going after the coupists in the name of protecting democracy, right? So there are soldiers, they've already sent soldiers to Benin Republic as we speak, but Kolu, in order to probably have his ass covered, wrote to Akpabiole this morning.
President of the Senate, distinguished Senate President, requests for the consent of the Senate for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for peace mission. Pursuant to Section 5, Subsection 5, Part 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I seek further to consultation with the National Defense Council, the consent of the Senate for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin. This request is made further to a request received from the government of Benin Republic for the exceptional and immediate provision of air support by the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The distinguished Senate may wish to note that the government of the Republic of Benin is currently faced with an attempted unconstitutional seizure of power and disruption and destabilization of democratic institutions. The situation, as reported by the government of Benin, requires urgent external intervention. Distinguished Senate, considering the close ties of brotherhood and friendship which exist between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, as well as the principles of collective security upheld within ECOWAS, it is our duty to provide the support as requested by the government of the Republic of Benin. While it is my hope that the Senate will consider and approve this request expeditiously, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This request for consent is committed to the Committee of the Whole for immediate action.
Maybe that's what they do. Now let us understand something here. If not because these guys have mismanaged Nigeria so much for so long, if to say Nigeria, that I believed those who were like our forebearers, right, envisaged, if that was the envisioned Nigeria that we have right now, this Nigeria should be the biggest brother in Africa, right? I mean, militarily, by your population, by the economy, by your military might and the rest of that, Nigeria should dominate. Nigeria shouldn't be a country where terrorists will be having field day. It is so disgraceful that other African countries do not look up to Nigeria except their own political, their political leaders who are looking for leverages, right? Political leverages just for their own personal gain. Nigeria was supposed to be a country that will be sending warnings to some rebels or some, some armed rebels in Africa to tell them that we are giving you so time, or else Nigeria will strike you and we will get rid of you. But Nigeria that can't defend herself. It is so crazy, right? That even up to the 90s, Nigeria was so prominent, right? In their this international diplomatic engagement, that Nigeria was so respected, not just in those international like that, within Africa. Up to the 90s, the South Africans, who possibly not all of them kind of like appreciate that anymore anyway. But yeah, that was how much Nigeria was involved, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Gabon, all these places. You have the record of how Nigeria played the big brother role. And everybody kind of like fell in line somehow. But these days, right, it is just one embarrassment to another. A country that couldn't keep our own citizens safe, a country that is negotiating with a terrorist, a country that celebrates the rehabilitation of terrorists, country that seems so powerless, and at the same time, you know, the leaders are so shameless that they couldn't see through that. So now we need to save Benin Republic. We need to save Benin Republic's democracy. And now soldiers are being sent to the country. Well, I don't know on what order, because right now it's obvious that with what Talon, the request of Talon in this instance, it simply means Benin Republic cannot defend herself. And now Nigeria needs to probably come in. But there are a lot of people that are saying that, listen, if this is the internal kind of like a problem of Benin Republic, which is political in this sense, the genesis of this whole thing, which ECOWAS usually ignores, they will have you know, controversial elections, rigged elections all over the place. ECOWAS will still endorse the dictators, the criminals. These criminals will change the constitution of their own country to extend their stay in office. ECOWAS will look away. And then something happened, right? ECOWAS want to save this country. It sounds so hypocritical to me. 2 years or so ago, no, was it 2 years ago, last year, Talon's party moved in the parliament to change the constitution. Usually they have this 5-year term, 10 years, 2 terms. Now they've changed the constitution to 7 years term. Although Talon said he won't be contesting or running for that office, or is disqualified. So he's not a beneficiary of the change in the constitution. So in the whole thing, right, it's all politics. Politics within Benin Republic that Nigeria would have to take side in the name of protecting democracy. They want to protect democracy now, but they didn't do same a year or 2 ago when these guys were making move in changing their constitution. A lot of them have done it. Like, look at that Otara. Otara in, I think that one is Ivory Coast, is it? They sworn in yesterday for another term, 5th term, I think. He himself changed the constitution to ensure that they could run for as long as he wants. ECOWAS won't look into that, but when crisis happens, right, ECOWAS want to protect democracy. Not just ECOWAS, those ones are like, you know, toothless paper tigers, right? But then the West, you know, America, France, especially France, right? So when those in charge are violating their own constitution, abusing the supposed privileges given to them by their country, abusing all of that, as long as they are giving the West whatever they wanted or whatever they are taking from their country, right, they will look away. This is part of what people believe that it will never happen in this part of the world, not in the West. The kind of elections that they allow to take place in Africa, as well as the amount of corruption institutionalized by them in Africa, right, will make you kind of question the type of, democracy we practice here and the one they practice or allow to be practiced in Africa. That's always leading to trouble. Anyway, Akpabiole and his gang couldn't wait to approve it. But there are few others who are senators who are present. One of them actually stood out, and that is Seriake Dixon, asking that, come, this whole thing, right? But they still did all their best to shut him down. Then they approved it for Kolu, Dixon, Oshiomole, and few others in this clip.
Sorry, you are wrong. Sorry? The communication is for the Senate to give consent for the President to act in line with the Constitution, not to debate.
Mr. President.
So the communication, if you debate,
we are saying the same thing. Can you listen also?
No. All the senators here that gave consent are aware of the content of that letter. They would not have given consent if they were not in agreement with the President's request.
Once it is closed, Mr. President, you cannot reopen it. It is sealed in concrete.
Our endorsement of the action is total. It is not open to further conversation.
And comments expressed just now on this very critical issue by the Deputy Senate President.
By ECOWAS.
But on conveying the views and commendation of the ECOWAS Parliament as he has done. But, Mr. President, without prejudice to that, I have thought that with the communication of Mr. President, which has been read this morning, that we will discuss the validity and the appropriateness and add value to it. Because the whole essence is for that communication to be debated, for it to enjoy legitimacy, so that everyone in this country will know, and even outside will know. So now what I'm saying is that...
Sorry, you are wrong.
Sorry?
The communication is for the Senate to give consent, for the President to act in line with the Constitution, not to debate.
Mr. President.
So the communication, if whether you debate...
We are saying the same thing. Can you listen also?
No. You have to get, whether you debate or not, you still come to the question, will the Senate give Mr. President consent as requested?
No, we are not debating that again.
No, you can't. You can't even
debate.
We are
not debating that
we have
again.
Closed that issue.
What I'm saying is...
We have given the President consent.
And
the Senate, all the senators here, that you see...
He's concurring with the...
I'm coming. All the senators here that gave consent are aware of the content of that letter. They would not have given consent if they were not in agreement with the President's request. So to go open it for debate, that is not what we are here for. In a point of order, Senator Shumole.
And there was no one voice of nay. It was all the eyes had it. And it was unanimous, including Senator Dixon. Once it is closed, Mr. President, you cannot reopen it. It is sealed in concrete. Our endorsement of the action is total. It is not open to further conversation.
Sorry, you are wrong.
Sorry?
The communication is for the Senate to give consent.
Yura, that is the Senate National Assembly of Nigeria debating how to send Nigerian soldiers on a fake peace mission that is not actually clearly defined, but let's kind of pick some things out of it, okay? Tinubu's letter said Benin Republic requested for fighter jets, and they were given even before the Senate approval. However, in that letter that is now communicated to Akpabiole, by the way, it is stated that they want more. They want more than just fighter jets. They want soldiers sent to Benin Republic, and therefore, Tinubu and the Nigerian military put together a package and they called it a peace mission to Benin Republic. You know, so people didn't have the chance of actually scrutinizing that like it should be. Rather, it was meant to be just approved. We just need your consent, like just say yes to it. And that is Nigeria National Assembly approved the boots on ground. I remember how many of you felt when Donald Trump's statement said they will come to Nigeria and go after the terrorists, the jihadists. And it's going to be, fast, swift. Sweet, fast and sweet. And it will be like gun blazing. I know how many of these people who lost their cool, they lost their shit, right? That, how could you say you want to send soldiers to Nigeria? So we're debating that 4 weeks ago. And today, the National Assembly of Nigeria, the Nigerian Senate, approved the boots on ground into Benin Republic, the neighboring country, because there was a failed coup attempt, and therefore thousands of Nigerian soldiers will now be drafted to Benin Republic in the midst of national security crisis in Nigeria. You see the alacrity at which this whole thing happened. Priority. The coupists were on rampage 2 days ago. It lasted for a few hours. And within that few hours, Nigeria from Abuja reacted and dispatched fighter jets straight to Benin Republic. Within hours, that same privilege is not accorded Nigerians inside Nigeria. For example, there is an SOS call. The Fulani terrorists or the Boko Haram terrorists are currently attacking so communities in the so local government areas of the states. And with that rapid response from Abuja to Katsina, from Abuja to Kaduna, from Abuja to Niger State, from Abuja to Kwara, from Abuja to Kogi, cannot be as far as from Abuja to Cotonou, from Abuja to Port Novo. For priority, it simply means that the safety of Nigerians is not really the priority of these guys. They want to leave you with the impression of we are doing our best, we are trying. At least they are trying. But the point here is this: you are not their priority, and it's a shame. Yeah, we need to save Benin Republic. Kolu needed to save Benin Republic for who? For the Benin people, for their colonizers. This is the part where they actually granted it quickly. Then the Akpabiole added his commentary afterward.
To the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for peace mission, and I request accordingly. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole?
So therefore, Nigeria, now another thing is that who is going to pay for that? In case if you don't know, like Nigeria will just plug 10,000 soldiers, for example, from somewhere in Nigeria, and then just give them to Benin Republic to provide security. They will give Benin Republic, surveillance aircraft, fighter jets to man the air for them. Like, who is going to pay for that? Who is paying for all of that? Nigeria. God damn it, man. Akpabiole.
Have as ambassadors designates. Distinguished ambassador designates, distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim, PhD warfare. You have just added that peace is not the opposite of war, and war is not the opposite of peace. So I believe strongly that the president's action has forestalled the death of many Nigerians, as would have happened in Liberia. In the past, Nigeria went into Liberia when it was late, and that was why a lot of Nigerian soldiers were murdered. But we succeeded with the collaboration of the international community to bring peace to Liberia, and Liberia was not fractured. I think the same thing happened in Sierra Leone and a few other countries. So we are very happy with the role that Nigeria continues to play. That was able to work with the international community and brought about the independence of Angola. And if you go there, that is why the plate number of Nigeria is 002, which should actually have been 001. But they said because of how close they are to the Democratic Republic of Congo, they had to give them 001, and then they gave Nigeria 002. And we have continued to play that role in many other countries. In South Africa, we didn't have troops on ground, but we supported the end of apartheid with everything, including contributions from even school children, NYSC, secondary school, almost everybody, civil servants in Nigeria on a monthly basis. We brought a lot of South Africans to Nigeria, and then they got their education here. When I was in Federal Government College, I had many of them in Port Harcourt and other Federal Government colleges. We provided all we could to support our brothers and sisters in the rest of Africa. So the role of the president is, again, in tandem with what past leaders of Nigeria had always done. But the swiftness of this action is what made the Nigerian Senate to give its consent without a single dissenting voice and under 1 hour. Because if it wasn't swift, we would have waited until it led to bloodshed. Here, there was no single bloodshed. So we commend Mr. President very seriously. Let me end with the Chief Whip of the Senate, if he has anything to say.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
So those are the characters in charge and making critical decisions for Nigeria. Don't get me wrong, like I said, right? Normally, Nigeria had played these big brother roles in the past, and I probably was too young to understand most of the situation at the time. But those who are the older kind of like generation from that era, some of them were so proud that the intervention of Nigeria in these countries were pretty much like a historical, like they actually changed the course of history in some of these African countries. But the last 10, 15 years, these other African countries that used to look up to Nigeria as big brother, they've watched this Nigeria so disgraced. Nigerians became almost like worthless. Lives became, worthless. Terrorists running rampage, ransacking, and ravaging everywhere. And they were asking themselves, and the saddest part is that majority of all these other African countries watching Nigeria from far, they all even understands what is going on. They understand the fact that it is not that this country or this Nigeria doesn't have the resources to stop this kind of madness, right? But they understand that because of the political, tribal, religious, this and that, right, which have helped to compromise the entire system, people, institutions and all that have become so divided and weakened. That is why today they are saying on social media, Nigerians either begging for ransom or begging government to please protect or save them while they are on the run from their own ancestral homes and lands and all that. So other African countries are watching. But it's only the Nigerians or these supposed Nigerians who bury their heads in the sand like ostriches, right? Like that, who pretended that they are still living in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, even 90s. The history they read in their civic books. Nigeria rescued Angola. Nigeria fought to end apartheid. Nigeria protected and saved Sierra Leone. But when you say all of that to them, they will now look at us and say, but why can't you protect yourself now? And a shameless Nigerian will say, hey, but security is everybody's global problems. You are just so shameless. Very shameless. You are like the people the Yoruba call you know what that means, right? Somebody the whole world or the generality of people actually watches with pity, but he sees himself as like that's exactly what Nigeria is. A shame. As somebody from Nigeria, you are likely going to pretend and live in denial. It is very common. But if you think other African countries or other Africans don't know what is going on in Nigeria, and they watch in horror, they watch with so much pity, and they look at you and they concluded that that country, they are just built for nothing. I have heard them say it. I have seen them utter it. That Nigeria, they will be telling them, so what do you want to go and do in that country? Oh, have you been to that country? Have you been to that Nigeria? They are so loud. They are so this. They are so that. But have you been to their country? This is what Nigeria is to them, in case if you don't know. Just saying. But there are those who have this special kind of like love for Nigerians. If you meet Nigerians from so many parts of Nigeria, you are going to feel like, oh man, there seems to be wonderful people, but why is your country so shy like that? And typically, a typical Nigeria will just be like, oh man, now Britain, Kosa. Honestly speaking, it is this America, or the West, they are the ones sponsoring everything in our country. See, and you are like, how many are you? We're like 250 million. 250 million. And you couldn't actually get like 1 million of you that will say enough. Say, no, it is America that is controlling. It's Britain that is controlling our election. It's crazy though, right? So when they call you a big for nothing, good for nothing as well. Big brother Africa. Crazy, right? So while we were still dealing with this Benin Republic and no clear sort of like a picture of what the situation is in Benin Republic, because when these coup plotters failed to capture the supposed president, you don't plan a coup and announce a coup without having the head of that government in custody. So they made a mistake. Or maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe this whole thing itself is actually a different agenda, or like a mean to an end, not an end in itself. Because how do you announce a coup and the guy who is the head of the government was safely kept somewhere? So it failed. You get me now? So they are not telling us what is going on inside that place. However, boom, breaking news. Nigeria's C-130 cargo aircraft, military aircraft, has been arrested in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, okay. What happened? We're talking about Benin Republic. And we've seen the Nigerian military and the rest of them flew to that Benin Republic in the last 48 hours. What do you mean Burkina Faso again? Say, yeah, they've got Nigeria a C-130 cargo plane. But Burkina Faso now far from Benin now. This is Nigeria. From here, Nigeria, you go to Benin. This is Benin. From here, you go to Ouagadougou. So this is Benin. From here now, you go to Ouagadougou. Ouagadougou is there in Burkina Faso. So now Ouagadougou that they call it anyway. Then from there, you can actually annex Mali. So meanwhile, if you are in Nigeria here, and you see Niger here, you see Mali here, you see Burkina Faso there, and Benin Republic here. So you fly from here, Nigeria, straight to Benin Republic. What the hell are you doing in Burkina Faso? They said that rumors started flying. They said, oh yeah, maybe they were spying on Burkina Faso. Maybe they are planning to invade Burkina Faso and the rest. And then the Nigerian military came out and said, no, that's not what happened, Nigeria Airforce. That's not what happened. You see, the aircraft developed a technical problem, and they had to make an emergency sort of landing. And it happened that a small airport in the southern part of Burkina Faso, Bobo-Dioulaso, I'm going to go get a name. Name kind of like it sounded like a Dobos or something to me, right? So the area, the town where the Nigerian C-130 cargo aircraft, military aircraft, right, landed is called Bobo. Hang on, let me take that again. It's called Bobo-Dioulaso or something. Hang on, where is it? Yeah, it's called Bobo-Dioulaso. Bobo-Dioulaso. Yeah, it's a small place in the southern part of Burkina Faso. So, like I said, we're still wondering what's going on in Benin Republic. Why is Nigeria so invested in it and all that? Yeah, have a boom. All about everybody. 11 personnel on the aircraft were detained. That was when the explanation started. So, you go explain, Taya. There is no evidence. That thing kind of like played out because, Baba, there is nothing. There is no theory. There is no angle. There is no whatever it is. I've not heard about what happened in Burkina Faso. Here you get after this video. Some say there is an AI.
Communiqué de la Confédération des États du Sahel, AES, relatif à la violation de l'espace aérien confédéral. La Confédération des États du Sahel informe l'opinion qu'un aéronef appartenant à l'armée de l'air de la République fédérale du Nigeria, de type C-130, a été contraint de se poser ce jour 8 décembre 2025 à Bobo-Dioulaso, au Burkina Faso, à la suite d'une situation d'urgence en vol, alors qu'il évoluait dans l'espace aérien burkinabé. L'avion militaire avait à son bord 2 membres d'équipage et 9 passagers, tous militaires. Une enquête a été immédiatement ouverte par les services compétents burkinabés et a permis de mettre en évidence l'absence d'autorisation de survol du territoire burkinabé par cet appareil militaire. La Confédération des États du Sahel condamne avec la plus grande fermeté cette violation de son espace aérien et de la souveraineté de ses États membres. Face à cet acte inamical, mené au mépris du droit international et des règles internationales d'aviation civile et ou militaire, les dispositions sont prises pour garantir la sécurité de l'espace aérien confédéral, la souveraineté et l'intégrité territoriale de ses États membres, ainsi que la sécurité des populations de la Confédération AES. À cet égard, et sur instruction des chefs d'État, les défenses aériennes et anti-aériennes de l'espace confédéral mises en alerte maximale, conformément à la déclaration du Collège des chefs d'État en date du 22 décembre 2024, ont été autorisées à neutraliser tout aéronef qui violerait l'espace confédéral. Fait à Bamako le 8 décembre 2025, général d'armée Assimi Goïta, président de la transition, chef de l'État de la République du Mali, président de la Confédération des États du Sahel.
Merci bien.
For the sake of us, we don't understand their French. May I give you an idea waiting the guy talk. So he was announcing that they've detained an aircraft with 11 crew members or 11 personnel on board, including the crew members, for violating the airspace of the AES country. Listen, when they broke away from the ECOWAS about a year or so ago, yeah, countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and partly Chad, by the way, so Nigeria Republic, they formed a bloc. They called it AES. You see, this bloc was out of the fact that when they pulled out of the ECOWAS, including Nigeria, they were placing sanctions on them. You know what I mean? Financial this and that sanctions. And they were upset that why would you be sanctioning us if we remove those who have been like more or less like puppets of the West? Why you, Africans like us, why would you sanction us? So Nigeria cut off all the financial dealings and whatever, including the, they have this financial system built that operates between Nigeria and Nigeria Republic. Nigeria terminated that for a while. I don't know if they reinstated that anyway, right? So Nigeria cut off electricity supply to Nigeria Republic. And Nigeria wasn't giving Nigeria Republic free electricity. It was their own share of that agreement to allow Nigeria to build a dam using the water that is the River Niger. So electricity from there will be shared by some of these countries at a kind of like a discounted pay. Nigeria have to give them electricity. Nigeria cut all of that off, in case if you don't remember. So that forced them to form a bloc that made them to approach Russia for their arms, for other economic deals, including China. So in all of this, it is believed that the West African countries like Nigeria and others, they have shown hostility to them. They are not their brothers. Nigeria and the maybe not you Nigerians, or maybe not you Ghanaians, or maybe not you Ivorians, or you Beninois. No. Your government and their position on this whole thing, they have posited that they are hostile to this AES, and they banned this their airspace. They banned all these other West African countries from their airspace. That one is not new. Do you understand? But Nigeria said, no, that's not what happened. They avoided the airspace. They weren't spying on them. They said these guys were going to Portugal. If you go to Portugal, no be Nigeria you go fly. What are you doing in even though Nigeria airspace you are not really allowed to fly that now. I don't know what is, I don't know what it is now. Remember that time when they banned everybody, right? So they've acquired equipment, enough equipment to jam any aircraft in the air. They will jam it and they'll force you down. Some of you who are thinking this is going to be the war of, some are actually expecting that this is an affront, an insult to Nigeria for a small country like Burkina Faso. You will not protect your people, and your people are living in the forest, tens of thousands of them, waiting to pay ransom right now. Do you really think all this thing is now about how much guns you are carrying and the rest? They can jam it and then bring it down as well. Don't pass through their airspace. They've warned you. So if you are going to Portugal, like they just claimed today, they're going to Portugal. Once you fly from where? Abuja, it's a straight line. You are going to go straight down to Niger, fly over Niger. But if they didn't allow you to fly over Niger, because once you fly over Niger, now so you're going to go to all these places like Morocco, all this thing, there to the Mediterranean, then straight to Europe. But you can then make your turn to left or right if you are going to Portugal anywhere. Here you get. But Burkina Faso, it can't be like a person day here, Abuja, and you're supposed to fly direct. And then you decided to do like this. And you got caught in their airspace only to be embarrassed and detained. So 11 people were detained, including the military men on board. But as we are watching this like few minutes ago or so, they've been released. So it was like not expected to be a fight or a battle of any kind. No. But it is just that some of these, ignorant Nigerians who believes that most of the details by moonlight that they read in their civic book, right? Even though they are living right now, they can see the reality right now, but still they want to believe some of the faboos they told them, right? About how Nigeria can be this or that. A country that its military has been so compromised, exposed the millions of people to, to violence, attacks and here and there, right? So that it's not a country you kind of going to be bragging of. And for context, this C-130 aircraft is exactly the one that was held for over 24 hours in Burkina Faso earlier. Just for context, look at it. This is the aircraft. A cargo plane, military cargo plane. So it is not like a spy plane, it's not a fighter jet, just cargo plane. And usually I believe they can also use same for troop deployment, where they can put like 300 or 400 soldiers in there and lift them to take them, to the war front, I think. But right now, the aircraft has been let off as all clearances also have been addressed. Well, that's in Burkina Faso. So, Pachi Tommy, all of this that we are seeing right now, this ridiculing of Nigeria and all of this due to the poor leadership and all that, Nigeria have lost its place, or like Nigeria have lost a place in the world. This is how he described it. Pachi Tommy, right? The guy who wanted to set up a parallel government. No, I can't remember, but yeah, but Tommy.
I think the Tony Uranta Memorial Lecture was an appropriate place to get into this because in ways, Tony Uranta, who I walked a path with, represents an era of optimism about Nigeria. When we were young kids, youth corpers, back in 1977, the optimism was extraordinary. We thought we would change the world. Nigeria was at the epicenter of a rise of the dignity of the black man. Now, you know, you and I know that this is not how Africans even feel about us anymore. The question is what went wrong. And we can delve into so many tracks of what went wrong and how it went wrong. And the problem is that we are not given, unfortunately, in public culture in Nigeria, to rational analysis of how we got to where we are. And people, justify things in all kinds of ways and don't enable them get to the truth so we can fix the problem. Nigeria was hope to the black man for a variety of reasons. I take a personal example of how I became very friendly with General Joseph Namvan Garba. Garba was foreign minister when I was a student leader at the University of Nigeria. And back in 1975, I came to Lagos to invite him to engage us in the debate at the University of Nigeria as students on Nigerian foreign policy. Because at the time, the most important thing in Nigeria was foreign policy. We were called the frontline state and all of that. And when I got to Lagos, of course, the usual thing, you student, you want to see foreign minister, go and write to your dean, to this, all that stuff. Of course, I went down, waited in ambush literally for him to arrive, and as he arrived, I stepped out and said to him, Colonel Garba, I disagree with you on Angola. He said, my name is Patu Tomi. I'm from the University of Nigeria. And we began a debate, which took me past his secretary who had bounced me. Anyway, all that is history. That optimism with which we saw Nigeria's role in Africa has somehow faded. I can tell you, and I mentioned this in passing at the Tony Oranta lecture, because chairperson was Ambassador Good News Igali. When Ambassador Igali was Nigeria's ambassador to Sweden, I had the good privilege of being invited to CIPRI's hosting of Global Trends, strategic process through which the US evaluates its place in the world. It was a very small conclave, former European prime ministers, the incumbent prime minister of Sweden, foreign minister, and of course, I can't talk about what we said at those kinds of events because they are Chatham House rules. But I can say to you that one of the things that hit me at that conference, and I told Ambassador Gali because he hosted my wife and I to dinner, one very famous man, one time he was on CNN almost every day, but said, what has happened to Nigeria is that it has lost its strategic relevance in the world. He said, 30 years ago, no power, no matter how big in the world, would want to do something in Africa without pausing to ask, how would Nigeria react? It's not necessarily that what Nigeria will do will stop it, but it will at least pause and ask. He says today, they would come into Nigeria's backyard without even thinking of Nigeria. So this loss of strategic relevance in the world is a very, very painful thing. But we can track how we got here. And that is what gets to me a great deal in having a political class that is not thoughtful enough, that is not able to have the kind of conversation that I had with a young colonel called Joseph Namvan Garba in 1975. Because we growing up, we read Time Magazine, Newsweek, cover to cover. So when I said what I said about Angola and the foreign minister said to me, what do you mean? I gave him a detailed analysis that got to him. So when he got into his office, he said, get me Brownson, get me Oseli secretary, get me Brownson, Ambassador Brownson Dede. I'm going to Nsukka to go and debate these boys. That world is not, unfortunately, with us today. So much has changed, and the quality of the political class is significantly responsible for this problem.
He has no job. He has.
you not tired hearing about this glorious time of Nigeria? You know, that period when, oh, man, to go to school, they will give you chicken, full chicken, and full rice. You have, fresh milk with your breakfast. You have snacks, fruits. Man, they will take you on holidays. You go to all these historical places. You go on excursion. Nigeria was so beautiful. Nigeria, Are you not tired of hearing them? Because all those things are now more or less like many that we never witnessed. And those who witnessed all of that then contributed to the ruin of all of that. So today, when they keep kind of like reminiscing on them on TVs and all that, and I'm like, because right now they have raised generations who have only known hardship, suffering, corruption, what do you call it, extrajudicial killings and the rest of that, that we have coined a prayer. May Nigeria not happen to you. Because everybody knows what that means. It's kind of a situation whereby you become so helpless. Like there's nothing you can do. Nowhere to turn to, no one to turn to. They ruined as they told us, a supposedly great country. And they are not letting go as well, because they still hold on to it. They still hold on to this power, the governance leverage and the rest of that. They still want to be in charge, despite all they have done. So they should stop telling us how they used to have electricity, how they used to have, very beautiful hostels when they were in schools, how jobs were already waiting for them before they even finish their class 5. It was like their secondary school. They're already there. How many of them got scholarships to go and study abroad so that they could bring back this supposed, development from this developed world. What did they bring back to Nigeria? They brought back corruption, institutionalized corruption, which has now contributed to what they know as generational poverty, multi-dimensional poverty, where you have over 140 million people living in multi-dimensional poverty. Multi-dimensional poverty. You know it. Don't let them use fancy English. Make it look like something nice. So, or maybe you are above it too. If you don't have access to 24 hours electricity, you are living in poverty. If you don't have access to, affordable health care, reasonable ones, right? You are living in poverty. If you do not have good and motorable roads, that is poverty, extreme. If you cannot stay safe around the people who are supposed to protect you, your police, your military, that is living in multi-dimensional poverty. Are you with me? A place where there is no rule of law, where everyone is a victim. It is a multi-dimensional poverty. The only reason that some of you don't see it like that is because you all thrive to become, strive to become I better pass my neighbor, which has actually made an average Nigerian a local government chairman, I've been a chairwoman, depends on your status, right? So a Nigerian, after paying all the taxes that they have no clue who is actually taking all these taxes, right? Then they will still have to go and dig their own borehole for their own water, build their own homes, build their own fences for security in many prisons, burglary proof and the rest of that to keep safe, while the same them are paying the salaries of a policeman, paying the military, paying the secret police and everybody that is meant to be paid to keep them safe, but they don't care. So they would have to provide their own electricity. And then, it depends on how you are well to do. You still have to go and provide your own health care. You need to provide your children's education by yourself, except if you probably just, you have to. So you do all this by yourself and you say you are a proud Nigerian. No, you are a proud Mugu, because those who are responsible for half of what you do yourself, right, do not even feel like they are failing. They don't see it that way. They still pass the bucket back to you and blame you. Say, well, you expect too much. Do you expect government to do everything? I say, wait government go they do? Help. Any small thing, they will say, do you want government to do everything? Government cannot do everything. Say, wait till government go they do. Like I just said now, you provide your own housing, you provide your own water, you provide your own electricity, you provide your own security to some extent, depends on how liquid you are, right? You provide all of these things yourself, right? And then government should fix the road. Some of you are even contributing money to buy yourself electricity transformers. But Nigeria will share real place, so that place no be real place, so. Government failed to provide electricity because there is no transformer to probably distribute the electricity. The residents will raise money, contribute money, and then buy one transformer. And according to them, that transformer they just bought with their money is not their property. It belongs to the electricity company. The electricity company that failed to provide the transformer will be the owner of that transformer. Then guess what? This is another sad part. When they buy the transformer, they will then have to contribute money again and pay the electricity company to come and please connect us to the transformer we just bought. So with the cables they buy, with the poles they buy, with the transformer they just paid for, all of that belongs to the electricity company. Is that a real place? It's not a real place. But yeah, we can keep pretending. You get what I mean? So those who made all of that happen, and we are living in it's like living in that hell. You should stop reminding us. They should stop reminding us how it was so glorious. It was so honorable. It was a proud moment, right? But all of that evaporated, right? Because the selfish, greedy criminals were those who took charge of the country. So they took the country straight to the Golgotha. So now at the edge of the cliff, everybody is trying to kind of see if they could weigh balance here or there, or this whole project is going to be off the cliff. And once it reaches the ground zero, that is where we're going to get to, we're going to get to see how many of us, how many nations will rise from the dust. Some of us are actually anticipating that, not because it's mostly in our own control. It's not. It's in their own hands. The way they are running and ruining the country will determine where this is headed. And some of us actually can project where this is headed eventually. So today, Fulbara sang on his mandate.
On your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate. On your mandate, we shall stand.
Well, that's the deal. But don't be surprised. It is expected. So this afternoon, Fulbara, the governor of Rivers State, with the weakest supposed nemesis, but unfortunately, so we've expected him to go and join the APC all this while. In fairness to him, let's be honest, okay? In fairness to him, Werewike and Tinubu have done serious damages to PDP, that when Fulbara came under the attack of this, state of emergency and all the other, even prior to the state of emergency, right? You would expect that the PDP will probably have some little grind to bite, and then they'll back. Whoa. To send the Tinubu and others away, but they were pure paper tigers, unfortunately. The judiciary, the executive, it was more or less like a foregone issue, foregone conclusion. So Fulbara stood no chance. And we saw the whole thing played out. But what we didn't expect was that he sort of delayed it until with the weakest men have started moving mad again. They have started moving mad again. Yeah, they've started again. So they have started accusing Fubara of mismanagement, of corruption, and they might need to look into impeaching him once they return in January. So Fubara met with Tinubu yesterday, and this was after the speaker and 15 others said they have decamped from PDP to APC, giving them the leverage to begin to go after Fubara. And people said Werewike was doing all of this as well to ensure that he secures the place for his own men in APC when it concerns the River State, because if he loses grips of political grips of the River State in this power game, right, then he will have nothing to leverage on. He will have nothing to bargain with Tinubu if Tinubu manages to rig himself back in. Sort of, yeah? But Fubara is still going to be a problem, okay? Because from what I gathered, it seemed that the peace they said they had, the return from their state of emergency, is a piece of graveyard. You know what they call the piece of graveyard? Do you know what is called a piece of graveyard? Let me describe it. It is that kind of, you know, if you go to the graveyard at night, you will see this uneasy quietness. But something will be telling you something is going to happen here. I need to tread there carefully. Have you ever been to the graveyard? Have you ever been to burial ground at night before? I know. No? Me too. I watched it in the movie. You know, these Nollywood movies, right? You could see the tension, right? When they show somebody in the graveyard and everything is just you won't see that, but you can feel the tension. That's exactly the situation in River State in the last 6 weeks, put it that way. So the rumor already spreading that they would have to get rid of him. So yesterday, while Fubara was with Tinubu inside the Aso Rock, right? With the weakest men who now controls all the local government areas, as well as the councillorship and all that, right? They gathered to endorse Tinubu for second time, and they wanted their endorsement to be like their own ticket, you know, to get a seat at the table whenever Tinubu is, you know, showing his benevolence towards 2027. So where is going to be Fubara? Then they pulled that today and they said, well, I am mad. Man, that was kind of like a cringy, right? I'm going to show you what he said, but this part is quite cringy. The way he's screaming that, I am mandate. It was like his life depends on it, right?
On your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate, we shall stand.
God damn it, man. Oh, but when you're going, it's more or less like, me too, I am standing on the mandate. All of you are threatening me. All of us could stand on the mandate right now. So he screamed it in a way that the mandate, the mandate. I was like, oh God. Politics here where they go, especially the Nigerian politics. Here is his own reason. He said the reason why he had to go and join the APC was that to identify with Tinubu, to work for Tinubu, they will need to identify with him in his own political party. That's why they are going to APC. It's crazy, right?
Dear leaders, I know you'll be expecting to hear from me, and more especially in this meeting. I have to arrange so gently. But the meeting is going to end in a very sweet information. You are aware that I went to see Mr. President yesterday, and the reason why I went for that visit is not just a personal visit, but a state interest consultation. I don't want to make any mistake this time around. I wish also not to step on any wrong mind or anyone is laying for us. So I was with Mr. President yesterday to brief him on the situation of things in our state, which I believe he has taken note and is going to act swiftly on it. But the most interesting part of the meeting is that what you all have been waiting for, what you've been asking me, the signal has finally arrived. We have the full support, we have positive nod to live where we are because we didn't get any protection. To go to where the reason why we are still standing is because of that case. And the truth is, without Mr. President, there won't be any His Excellency. It would have been formal. So we have every reason, because the truth, let nobody be fooled in this state. We have the people, we have the supporters, and we have the our only thank you to Mr. President is to support him. And we cannot support Mr. President in isolation. And we can't support Mr. President if we don't fully identify with him, not backyard support. So we have taken that decision today. Since we've gotten a pass, everyone here who have followed me, who have suffered with me, our decision today, this evening, we are moving to APC.
To an average Nigerian, he is a smart guy. People like us talking on social media, how are we ready to help him? We are just talking on social media, just talking. Eh? He's a very smart Nigerian, the way he is. Because to be governor, to them as an average Nigerian, is an opportunity. And get it right, too. It is not an opportunity to serve. It is an opportunity to change your life, change the life of your family, change the life of anybody you want to change their life in your cycle. It's an opportunity. So anybody that manages to make you governor, you will be so stupid to be listening to people like Mayegun that are telling you that you should stand upright and reject bribing Godfather. Because people like Mayegun, they are just noise makers. They don't understand politics. Because their politics in Nigeria is a blessing. And that is why you get to see somebody who is appointed as a special advisor, so a personal assistant to the special advisor, to the senior special advisor to the president. Like the president, somebody is a senior special advisor to the president on media. Now that senior special advisor to the president on media, he will also have his own league of advisors. Baba, this guy, they advised the president on youth. Sure you get. They say youth, special advisor to the president on youth. Then this special advisor, senior special advisor, will now have his own special advisors. We have special advisor on economy, special advisor on agriculture, special advisor on football, special advisor on Chelsea, special advisor on Manchester, just a special advisor on La Liga. They will have them like that. Those ones, we also have their own special advisors like that. And person where they just appointed as the third or fourth leg of advisors to senior special advisor to president, then we'll go to church. Serious party. Say, and I also rock with the go now. I am a special advisor to the special advisor to the special advisor and the senior special advisor to the president. Say, how many? Say, 4. I'm the 4th one. Say, wow, God is great. God that made you the 4th one will finally, by the year, it will make you the special advisor to the president. You will not get anybody in the middle again. Amen. So with this thanksgiving you have brought today, God will lift you the way he lifted Sudano from Kiniko to household, wherever. They will do all of that for them. So they do thanksgiving because they are given political appointments. If you can't go win election, chancellor, you will see people happy around and all of that. It is not because they expected you to really change anything. They will say it is your own opportunity. And it's good to be loyal. If you are loyal to all these your political leaders, they will reward you. So political offices are mainly for reward. You're rewarding lackeys. And that is why you will see them celebrate it in a way. It is not about ideology or anything. So to an average Nigerian, Fubara is doing the right thing. I mean, PDP couldn't save him. The people of Rivers State that voted for him couldn't save him. It was Tinubu that saved him. But the truth is that without Tinubu, Fubara will not be removed from office. His removal from office is so illegal. But because Nigeria is a lawless place, you understand? He's so grateful that he was given another chance. So right now, he's probably ready to give any amount of money. And that's what they normally do. Any amount. Name it. Just for APC to call him their governorship candidate. To give him their ticket in 2027. Rivers will pay. You will pay. What do you think caused this? On your mandate like that. That's
on your mandate, we shall stand. On your mandate. On your mandate. On your mandate, we shall stand. I'm not going to let you down now. What? The message is very simple. We are the ones that will give that support. And we will give that support with a loud ovation. Because we know that the people of Rivers State are with us. Thank you. God bless you all.
Nuisance, Lele.
Complete nuisance. We don't get anybody. Let us break it down. I mean, I understand that somehow they just need to entertain themselves. But let us look at the facts. He's got nobody. To be honest with you, he's got nothing. But here is why. When Wike forced him or managed to get him rigged in as a governor, Wike controlled over 80% of all of the political appointees. All of them. Up to the ministry, who are like the civil servant and the rest of them, Wike handled all of that. To the point that 80% of these food barracks commissioners, they will rather report back to Wike. Wike was in Abuja as minister. Food barrack will be holding executive council meeting in Rivers State, in Port Harcourt. And when he says, oh, you, commissioner for, so your budget of the road of so and so. So what is the update? Because I have given the approval. So what is delaying that? The commissioner will tell him that I'm still waiting for Oga's approval because Oga never said anything. Oga, like Oga, who is Oga? Wike. So that was what he was dealing with. So when he started this whole shenanigans of, resisting sharing the allocation of the state, the blah, you all saw what happened. So he has no control over the the State House of Assembly, National Assembly members. He's got nothing. Those ones he surrounds himself with, when he told all of them to go and run on another platform for local government elections, remember, the one he conducted, and they were all declared winners. And he sworn them in, and he told them to go and resume office. That changed. All of that got changed because, Wike pulled the Supreme Court card because he's got nothing. So at the end of the day, all of them, he had to tell them to, don't worry, they will find something else for them. While he's working to find something else for them, all of the local government, all of his boys in that local government, all over the state, while he was still waiting to find something for them, they declared state of emergency for another 6 months. So everybody just went away for 6 months. And with the weakest men, they were all over the place. They were in charge. So the administrator was appointing with the weakest men, the ones who are fighting Fubara. They were in charge for 6 months. They are still in charge. When Fubara came back, so the administrator don't conduct local government elections. All the weakest men are in charge of all the local government areas. All the councillorship seats are owned by the weakest appointed men. And that's what they call their politics. The politics of grassroots. So when he's telling them that the Rivers people are with us, we are the one that we say is just talking rubbish. But you don't have to believe me. Just give it time. Here is Save Our Soul message from the APC members in Anambra State. I believe they are protesting the marginalization, the political marginalization by Tinubu's regime. They said Tinubu has not been giving them appointments. And if he gives appointment to Anambra or to these states, right, it's not to them, the APC members, but to some people that were anti-APC. So they had to stage a protest, right? The clowns.
Are you live? Are you live? APC Anambra State Liberation Movement. In our reply, we demand action on injustice on Anambra APC regarding federal appointments. Go ahead. We demand action on injustice
regarding federal government appointments in APC Anambra State. We demand action on injustice regarding another appointment on APC Anambra State.
AES Anambra State Liberation Movement.
We demand action on injustice regarding appointments on AES Anambra State.
AES Anambra State Liberation Movement.
We demand action on injustice regarding federal government appointments on AES.
I'm move past you. You know I'm more rich me guy. I swear to God that talk I'm move past you. I'm move past you again. I'm move past you. Ask anybody. See, you go argue this thing, but I swear to God I'm move past you. You don't see where they move before. Me gege, I'm move past you. I'm move past you. You know move reach me guy. I swear to God that talk, I'm move past you. I'm move past you gege. I'm move past you. Ask anybody. See, you go argue this thing, but I swear to God, I'm move past you. You don't see where they move before. Me.
You don't see where grown up they move before. So Anambra State Liberation Movement. Talking to Tinubu to look into the marginalization from the federal government's appointment. It's all about appointment. Everybody shall want go drain this national pause. There's money no day, money no day, money no day. A lot of them are currently on the queue, like they're on the queue. You know what they usually say, right? That you see the criminals you are seeing today. Those who are waiting to take over from them, they are more vicious. And I don't know, it's like, how do you put that? Like human sort of like weakness or something. When you look at those who were looting Nigerian money in the 60s, in the 70s, 80s, the money kept growing up, 90s, 2000s, and now you watch how much money like each of that generation looted, and you realize that those who were waiting, right, for their own turn, when they got their turn, they did worse than those the previous ones. And just like that, the sequence continues. Today, an individual will personally steal 100 billion naira. 100 billion. One person will steal over $2 billion. $2 billion. Because all they had to do is just to change the zero, change the figure here, and that's it. It has gotten to a stage whereby they loot to hire the best lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria, that will help to come and defend them. A thief will hire the most expensive lawyer just to buy himself time or just to get himself off the hook. And then the ones who are going to, you see those ones who are watching these guys now, most of you are currently waiting for your turn. Because the reason why this level of impunity, this criminality, right, lasted this long is because majority of the people that will likely join you in condemning this, this madness, right? They are doing so. Majority, I'm not saying not everybody, majority, they are doing so for possible two reasons. And you just need to pay attention to understand them. When people join you to condemn these bad behaviors, this poor leadership, mismanagement of the country and all of that, right? Some of them are doing so because they are not benefiting from it. Do you understand? They are not benefiting from it. And the moment they have their chance, they'll start explaining to you. How many people have you probably come across in the last 10 years alone who have had like riots, a profile of their supposed political positions, who have changed their position severally on several occasions, right? In the last 10 years. Because majority are not really against corruption. Here you get. They are not really against this bad governance. They are just joining us because, yeah, we all consider it's bad. But give them the chance to come close. Now, them go to explain to you. Africa Wahala, I used to be like you. But the moment I got closer, when I became the special advisor to the governor and I attended some meeting, I now realized that it's not easy to govern a state. A lot of people will just sit down on social media, be talking and talking. Do you think it's easy to govern a state? Say, Mayegun. The world is coming to an end, though. Mayegun is now explaining to us that it is not easy. to govern a state. Government is not easy. Yeah, people have done that. They could explain to you. Now you go on the wonder, say, she, and I made them mad. I mean, this person is just trying to kind of like make me mad because me you understand by you see you like you they tell me say what they see, you know be what they see. Like you trying to convince me, see, this is what you are doing. They say they pay people to do that. You get what I mean? So yeah, once you see me come here and tell you that look at you straight in the eyes like this on your screen and begin to tell you that everything I have told you all these years, they were simply because I did not understand how government works. But now that I am the special advisor to governor, I know better. Some of you are just arguing blindly. I like in my last 1 week. But people do it. So that you get to know that the reason why people do that or they join you to condemn all these people is simply because they are away from it. But the moment they get closer, somebody from their family gets a political appointment, and you know something, it's not even limited to those of you living in Nigeria. In fact, those of you living in Nigeria who knows them very well probably will despise them more. You see those ones who live abroad, those ones that you think they are okay, the Americans and the British, or those Nigerians, you have no idea. They are worse than Alimajiris, the Alimajiris that are picking pockets, begging money in Nigeria. You get me now? All those you are abroadia auntie, abroadia uncle. Majority of them, their dream, is to finally join and benefit from this your politics. And it is not because they have lived in any country for so long. No. Who do you think your politicians come abroad to see? Who are those who makes the place convenient for them? Politicians, some of them who have never left Nigeria in their lives. Right? But now they go abroad all the time. Who are those you think kind of made it easier for them? Maybe Nigerians. You will realize that your uncle and auntie, who is even somebody who look like this, actually like a successful in America, successful in the UK, he is still there. Calling that useless House of Assembly member honorable. Honorable, but you just forgot us, Sha. They are all looking for something. They are all looking for a way in. They are all looking for how to kind of coming back to that Nigeria, that lawless place, to run you streets. And you know, we are the type that can easily really do that anyway, because a middle experience, right? So the point I'm making there is that the situation in Nigeria survived this long or lasted this long because those who condemn or those who actually really condemn this madness, they're not doing so simply because they hate the madness. Not all of them. That's one of the reasons, because some of them are only waiting for their turn, waiting for their time. And when I say wait for their turn and time, right, it's because I have seen it. That's why I prefer we just kind of like break it up, have a conversation around a confederation that no longer gives this false sense of greatness that is built on falsehood. This false sense of a greatness, where your people are being drenched in poverty every day in their hundreds, while few of you are stealing that supposed resources meant for them. And then you have your eyes on that, like, if I should become a governor, if I could become a president, if I can become, not because you want to change anything, but simply because it could be your own turn or your own chance. So the 2027 is coming closer, and they asked Peter Obi himself, like, what are you up to lately? Like, what's going to happen come 2027? And he had told them, like he's been saying, he's not desperate to be president of Nigeria. He's just desperate to see Nigeria work. But how? You need to be president to see Nigeria work. Well, his answers.
I came in and listened to what Professor Akko was saying, is something he has always said. And it's one thing that everybody who share and understand global development will tell you about. Nigeria, Africa is not a poor, Nigeria is not a poor country. Africa is not a poor continent. It's a very rich continent. Nigeria is a very rich country. Fortunately, has become capital of poverty. The big irony. A continent like Africa, second biggest continent in size, second biggest continent in population, with all the young productive age that will drive the world, has become capital of poverty in the world. And when I listen to the resources, and what he concluded and said, they are going to negotiate. What is the Ogoni people going to negotiate? The government should be thanking them for coming up with an idea that will turn around the place. You don't need to negotiate. You don't negotiate what you have. I've said it. It's not just Ogoni, the entire Niger Delta deserves apology for wasting their resources and wasting everybody's time. The entire country is rich. I'm not talking about just natural resources. We have it everywhere. Even those who don't have all it takes. We have empty land, all cultivated. Forget about what is underground. Today, little tiny country like Netherlands is with water is 41,000 square kilometers of land. Without water, it's 33,000. Every year they export agricultural products or related of 120 billion euros, about $130-something billion, more than 3 times what we earn from oil. They are just 33,000. We have our biggest states today, Niger State, with fertile land, with everything, is 76.3 thousand. It's 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. I'm not talking about what is under. The land is there. It can make all the change. So we have everything. God gave it us for free. Tiny countries like Israel is feeding themselves and exporting agricultural products. Israel is just 22,000 square kilometers. Sambisa forest area that is giving us problems, 60,000. That's 3 times the size of Israel. We're wasting everybody's time here. And we must dismantle it and make it work for our children. We can't go on this way where we are being our resources, our country is being mismanaged by incompetence. People who lack capacity and compassion. All of us, this is not just pointing the finger to anybody. All of us need to recheck what we're doing. This soil, this areas and everything, if you go to Niger Delta today, the land is destroyed. They have nothing to show for that destruction. And nobody's appealing with them and they're talking about negotiation. Negotiate what? When the whole place is filled with this. We can't cultivate rice just to feed. They say price of rice, this and everything. Third world countries like Bangladesh is today producing 10 times the amount of rice Nigeria produces. Bangladesh. The entire Bangladesh is 148,600 square kilometers. That is the size of our two biggest states. Niger at 76.3 and Borno at 70.8 is almost 148,000. And Bangladesh is producing 50 to 60 million tons of rice, and we can produce 10% of that. I came in and listened to what Professor Akpabiole.
Obi is Obi. And I need to promise you this, right? Majority of his critics, they are bored with the numbers and all that. They couldn't really see the technicality in his point. Like Abba, a country like Nigeria, they used to feed themselves, at least. Then the terrorists came, took over everywhere, displaced farmers, slaughtered some of them, took over some of the farms, and like that, Nigeria food production dwindled in the last decade. Like, how much money do you think Nigeria have lost to the war the terrorists are waging against Nigeria? And I am talking about in dollar value now. It is in hundreds of billions of dollars. A peaceful country where people could actually really cultivate their farms and go, to their homes, no displacement, children go to school, community run the way they were running at the time before the entire disruption. Sure, you get food production not disrupted. Is a country, a country in peace can build enough to, can grow enough of food to feed our own growing population, but not Nigeria. Rather, politicians are looking for the shortcuts. They ignore the real symptom, and they were chasing the shadow. So they would rather spend money to import food to cover what they call the shortfall, while the inflation in the country continued to skew. So those numbers mattered, right? If Nigeria invests just a quarter of what the country probably projected to lose if they allow this war on terror, being a terrorism in Nigeria to fester like it has so far. Sure, you guys. So if they are invested, let's say a quarter of their own, the losses, just projected losses, Nigeria is going to lose like $100 billion in 10 years if nothing is done to quickly tame this menace, right? Then spend like $25 billion to curb it and then bring peace. But no, they would rather buy the peace, which is to bribe the terrorists. Let it be finished.
Of that. Go to Sierra Leone, go to Ethiopia. They are living off tea. They are living off coffee. You can grow that in Mandela. We have Taraba, 54 point something thousand square kilometers of land. With all that, we're not getting anything. So what went wrong here? Why are we wasting everybody and hurting our young people? Yes, there's criminality in the north. There's criminality everywhere. But my dear, it is mass poverty. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. It's natural way of fighting it. And what we have it here, it is there. God gave it for free. We have talented young people who have the drive. But people like me, in elite conspiracy, have refused the country to move. They're not talking about religion. They're talking about tribe, talking about nonsense. Is there any tribe that buys bread cheaper in this country? Is there any religion that buys food cheaper? So why is all this? It is time to dismantle this criminality and get the country to work for everybody. And that's what we're saying every day. Let those who have oil, we will help them. Restructure it. Like he said, tax them appropriately. Let people keep what they have. We organize the country. Even if we're not going to do it tomorrow, let's plan it for tomorrow. In order to get the place to work and be productive. Like you mentioned, Singapore didn't have anything. They offered service. And today, they have all it takes. They don't even have land. They don't even have land. To expand their port now, they're trying to expand their port because there's no way they can expand the port. You know what Singapore is doing now? They are borrowing huge money to do their new port under the sea. Because that's where they can find space. Meanwhile, we're still here talking about election. We're voted for, we're not voted for. Carrying talks, breaking people's head, paying price, doing this, wasting everybody's time. Our children can't live with this. It's totally unacceptable. And the young ones, we should be thanking people like back home. Your Majesty, I know you desire negotiation. We have passed that stage. They should be begging you because they reaped what you have. It was destroyed. They should be the one coming to you to say, we are sorry. Not the other way around. And I've said it. We're going to apologize to the children of this country. We're going to apologize to everybody. If I have opportunity, I will apologize to everybody for having wasted their time. In a country where everything is there. I had an opportunity as I conclude. I was just talking to a general, a retired general. I came from his house to here. I said, son, I read a book, Growing Apart, by Professor Louis of John Hopkins. It's a book about Indonesia and Nigeria. How two countries, where Nigeria have more resources, grew this way. And that took me to go to Indonesia early this year, met from the ministers to the president to discuss that. They won't come and listen to you. You're talking about taking it to government. They won't read it. That's why they're not here. Every other place they would have been here. James Robinson wrote Why Nations Fail. James Robinson was given Nobel Peace Prize for economics last year. James Robinson said so many countries know what to do to be prosperous and refuse to do it. Example of such nation is Nigeria. He said it open.
So you give that to him, right? He's kind of like working in his own conviction. A lot of people are seeing him as somebody who doesn't have what it takes to actually fight for power in a country like Nigeria. So I can see some of you already calling him a motivational speaker and the rest of that, of course. So people expected him to be more kind of like rugged, brutish, because the people he's dealing with are people who don't keep prisoners. So would they trust that, Obi would lead them again in 2027 and under what banner of party? So all that kind of conversation are going on. And that was why he told them that he wants to see Nigeria work. Is not desperate to become president. But others are saying, Baba, all these your ideas, so you know if you do them if you are not president. Here you get. So the ADC that he's been mingling with currently seems to have been at a dilemma as we speak, because they couldn't really pinpoint what is Peter Obi's intention. So the last time he spoke on their coalition was that they needed to clear the area of zoning, right? That is ADC going to zone their ticket to the south and let all the southern candidates slug it out and face Tinubu, or what? So his own demand is pretty much not clear, but based on what he said, it will be like, okay, it's going to be part of the ADC if they are going to zone their ticket to the south. While others are saying that even if the ticket is zoned to the south, Peter Obi doesn't have what these career, politicians, right, like Amechi, It doesn't have the ruggedity or the ability to probably bribe delegates, which, will happen if they go to primaries. So there's so much conversation going on around that. And it seemed that Peter Obi is the one keeping everybody in suspense. Have you noticed that despite all the effort that those who are currently mobilizing for ADC, despite all of their efforts in crowd pulling and the rest of that, they don't really have that momentum? Sure you get? I don't know. I think they got that momentum the moment people felt like Peter Obi was going to be part of them. Then when people started seeing all the characters behind this ADC coalition, they started feeling like, So some believes that the shine of them right now is simply because Peter Obi hasn't really clearly said he's with them. So that means a lot is cooking. That's not that. Now, talking about negotiating with a terrorist. I agree with him though, right? Like I have said it many times. When terrorists commit crimes, and it includes killing of people or kidnapping them, yes, you probably may save their lives for trial, okay? But you do not just suddenly say you have forgiven them without going through any form of a legal scrutiny or legal process at all. Where in the Constitution did they get that power from? Because it doesn't exist, right? And then repentant terrorists, wannabe terrorists, uncourted terrorists who have now managed to migrate to every part of the country are wreaking havoc. And people are taking laws into their own hands too. Take a look at this guy that was caught in Edo State. And Edo State have come under serious attacks from these kidnappers, name them, including the copycats, wannabe kidnappers. Watch this one.
What to be your name?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim what?
Adamu.
Adamu?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yobe State.
Yobe State. Where for Yobe?
Patesco.
How many times are they kidnapped?
This one I be the first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
How you take company?
So my oga now called me. One my oga wa the border like nine for me.
So me you company?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
He tell me say me I come then they here. I say okay, me I come.
What do you call up when I come?
So I say I come.
I
say I come. He tell me say see on work.
Which work?
Me I join him.
For?
I say me I never do one.
Which work?
In the this one why una hold me for talk.
Which work?
In the kidnap people.
Okay, kidnap people.
Yes.
Okay. How many of them go the operation?
Will be 8.
What will be that guy name?
Who?
That guy, what will be his name?
Sadiq.
Sadiq what?
Sadiq, they call him Alaji Sadiq.
Alaji Sadiq.
Yeah.
Where he come from?
So I don't know in village, but I know some where they stay. Sometimes they stay for Ogomojocho. Sometimes they stay for
Igomo Junction.
Yeah.
Okay. How many guns now carry?
He get 2 guns.
Okay. So how now they carry these people?
So how would they carry them? They jam us for road. They come it up for road.
For road?
Yes.
That they travel?
Yes. Our Oga just hold them.
Our
Oga come hold them.
Come hold them?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people now hold that day?
Then be 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. How much now come call it? How much is you for?
So this policeman why we hold, he own 800. That girl 100,000. This the 2 people we never collect 1 naira. So we just give them.
They say that ring, now one of them ring, that wedding ring.
I collect them with a large hand. I don't know say now I'm come out.
Okay, you come put them for.
I come put them for my hand.
Where will they stay for Benin?
For Benin, yeah. So me I never tell when I come, but I stay for that new market.
New market.
Yes.
Which of the new market?
That Eba market.
For Eba market.
Yeah, I sleep there. There I sleep. In the morning, sometimes we will go clearing. Sometimes we no get work. Now so we just there. Sometimes I say cigar. Now so the TV.
You not from Yobe?
Yeah.
Which work you they do for Yobe before you come Benin?
Na cow I dey put.
Cow you dey put.
Yeah.
Why you can't go to kidnap?
Don't happen if she bring. You know say if you like person things, one day you go enter. So this one I be the first one, I be the last one.
What be your name?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim what?
Adamu.
Adamu?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yobe State.
Yobe State.
Pastor, Oko ọlọ́pàá ń ṣọ́ pastor. Àwọn ọmọjọ sticker ló ń ṣọ́ wa. Àṣé kò rí pé orí wa ti burú. Ìwọ má dídá o, ìpápá ẹ̀dá rin. Jẹ́ ká wà ní báìbù tó ń jẹ. Kò jẹ́ gbèsè àgbẹ̀tọ̀ àbí kò gbẹ́rì tí kò gbè tí a fẹ́ jókòó tẹ̀rà. Gbẹ́rì tí bá yọ píù. Àwòyí àárín. Mo mọ̀ ní pé wà nínú báìbù pé ìgbà tó fẹ́ mú Jésù kọjá ní àárín òun ògèrí Jésù. Kí ni Jésù lò? Àfẹ́ rí ló lò. Ìwọ má dídá ayé bàjẹ́. Pastor, Oko ọlọ́pàá ń ṣọ́ pastor. Àwọn ọmọjọ sticker ló ń ṣọ́ wa. Àṣé kò rí pé orí wa ti burú. Ìwọ má dira o, ìpápá ẹ̀dá.
Ìwọ má dira o. So that was Edo State, right? You know, they are everywhere. They actually will speak your local languages, even with the dialects, the accent and all that. It's so crazy, right, that we normally add all these Fulani herdsmen, you know, and their cows in our communities, you know, or these rural areas. You barely see them in the cities, right? But in the rural areas, they interact with people, they communicate with people in the language, because most of them have been in those areas for quite a while. But whenever the ones that kidnap and kill people, right? Once they are coming, I'm talking about the ones with bikes and all of them that will, you see these ones who have been friendly with all of you in the locality and all of that. Most of the time they are also working as the informants as well as those who actually map the area for them. The exit, the entry, the exit to a town, to a community, they gather all of that together. So they befriended the people. They can tell the kind of character, the kind of people who are armed in the community and those who are not armed. Possibly the type of arms they have as well. So all this information, the day these other armed ones on bikes will invade that community. You see these known ones, they will just withdraw from the community a day before. And then the attackers will come, wreak havoc, do all of that. And you may never see these ones again. But those ones who are like the copycats with their cows, they will leave their 2, 3, or 4, 5 cows somewhere, you know, group themselves together, 4, 5 of them. They will just jump to the highway, the motorway, you know, kidnap passengers, kidnap people going to farms and demand for ransoms. So those ones are now like the pocket of kidnappers who are mostly operating in the southern part of Nigeria. That's why the experience of people from this middle belt part of Nigeria, the north central, talking about Kogi, Plateau, Benue, Taraba, Kwara, when you look at that stretch up to Niger State, you realize that the form of attacks being carried out in such places, they are like targeted attacks where communities will be ransacked, people will be slaughtered, some will be kidnapped, and properties will be destroyed. And most of the time, the information on how this could be done is provided by those ones who were very much around. You know, if you grew up in the rural area, if you grew up in the smaller towns and communities, like myself, you probably would have that experience. You know, yeah, and that is why people are almost taking the laws into their own hands now. You know, so anyway, here is the latest that I've just heard that the seized aircraft, you know, in Burkina Faso hasn't been released officially. Yeah, that's the latest, the last 10 minutes. So that means there is still pretty much like a standoff on the matter. And here is what Confessor Shoyinka had to say on the military intervention of Tinubu in Benin Republic. He said, with the number of security protecting his son, Sheyi, Tinubu doesn't need the army or the military. He could just send Sheyi to Benin Republic to maintain peace. This was at an event.
Tinubu didn't have to send the Air Force and the military to deal with this particular insurrection, this threat to our own sense of security and equilibrium. No, there are easier ways of doing it. Let me tell you where Tinubu should have looked for forces to quell that insurrection. Right here in Lagos, right here, or in Abuja perhaps, I don't know. But there was no need to call the military or the Air Force. I'll tell you what happened. On one of my home visits, this about 2 months ago, I was coming out of a hotel and I saw what looked like a film set. And I said, oh, they're shooting a film. That was on the grounds of this hotel. And a young man detached himself from the actors, came over and greeted me, very polite, very nice young man. And I said, are you shooting somebody? I said, I'm just joking. Are you shooting a film? He said, no. And I looked around. There was nearly a whole battalion occupying the grounds of that hotel, in Ikoyi, right here. So I got back in my car and I asked the driver who that young man was. And he told me. And I saw this SWAT team, a mixture. There were at least heavily armed, at least some 15 or so heavily armed to the teeth security personnel. Looked sufficient to take over a small country, neighboring city like Benin. And I think the next time, the president should just call and say, Sheyi, go and quell the rebellion over there. I was so astonished that I started looking for the National Security Advisor. I said, track him down for me. I think they got him somewhere in Paris, but I was with the president. He was at a meeting. And I said, I've just seen something. I can't believe it. I don't understand. And I described the scene to him. I said, do you mean that a child of the head of state goes around with an army for his protection or whatever? I couldn't believe it. Later on, I did some investigative journalism. And I inquired, and I found that apparently this is how this young man goes around with his battalion, these heavy armed soldiers. Of course, the road was cleared before his car went out. I stayed until it seemed he was leaving. So next time there's an insurrection, I think the president should just call that young man and say, no, put down those stupid people there. You have enough troops under your command, so don't bother me with all these security issues any longer. Let's not overdo things. This is not the first country that has a head of state. It's not the first country whose head of state has families. And I think children should know their place. They are not potentates. They are not heads of state. And the security architecture of a nation like this suffers some injury and alienation when we see such a heavy devotion of security to one young individual. You'll excuse me, but I'm in and out.
Akpabiole is surprised to see the first son of the Federal Republic. Let all of us start pretending that we are surprised, we are shocked. Akpabiole saw the retinue of a security around the first son of the Federal Republic. It shocked him. That if he could be going around with this amount of security, soldiers, police, this and that, hey, this man alone could provide security for most of the troubled areas in Nigeria. If you have this number of, this number, you alone, and who are you? I'm the first son of the Federal Republic. Oh, hi, right. I mean, we were alive when Bokwari's daughter, are we not alive? When Bokwari's daughter took one of the presidential jets to Bauchi to go and participate in their annual, what is it called? Annual Durban. It's like something like Durban. They were doing Durban or something. He took a private presidential jet from Abuja and she flew to this Bauchi just to go and take pictures because she's studying photography in one college in London. And she's the president's daughter. Just so you know. So if Babasho Inka is kind of like shocked, well, we have seen a lot. Just that I haven't seen them like physically per se. So I'll be much irritated, I think. So the dancing governor of Osun State, Governor Ade Jackson Ade Ajogbafida, has now abandoned PDP too. So 2 governors left today. 2 other governors are going to leave later. The first one is going to be the governor of Plateau State. Then the governor of Taraba State. They've moved their own decampment to January. But to APC, it is only that Governor Ajogba, Ajogba Trophy, right? Ade Jackson is pitting his own tent with Accord Party. And he's running for the election next year as well, right?
Others follows. And what I do today is very, very significant. So, Your Excellency, I want to present your card, which was, you entered the party the 6th of November, and we are today presenting the His Excellency's card officially to him. I will present it to the whole world to know that our state has lied and they are working accordingly with the spirit and money and of our God. Like I said before, for the avoidance of doubt, and for those that did not get me clearly, His Excellency joined Accord on the 6th of November 2025 as the national chairman of Accord, and now I present officially their membership card to you.
And that's where you get to see like that. If it's like, if it's like that, you're gonna say, voila, eventually, and you're like, it's about to get down. So right now, it is no longer PDP that controls Osun State. Accord Party now have their own state governor, and it is Osun. So PDP will lose another 2 governors any moment from now. By January though, Taraba will be gone. Plateau State will be gone. Rivers is gone already, and right now, Osun is gone as well. So what would they have left? They will have Zamfara. They would have Bauchi. They will have Oyo. Chai. Tinubu have succeeded in entrenching his one-party state. Nigeria one-party state. Hello, brace up. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for your time, everyone. I was going to take calls tonight, right? But something came up. So I am going to take the calls another time, okay? I know I keep like shifting it and postponing it and all that. But yeah, I'm just taking advantage of us not so being too busy. But I apologize to a lot of you that always feels like, man, I don't know why I won't take calls. So I will another time when it's much convenient. So please like the broadcast, okay? Like it and share it, and subscribe to my channel. and I will see you again another time. So it's going to be a good night from here. Odaro.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Mayegun dayari politico.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Ayé.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lé rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.